Back of the Trop, we move into the bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0 Boston. And we're happy to have Jim Hickey, the Rays pitching coach, join us. And Jim, not a pleasant top half of the fourth, and without getting too specific about a preview of next year's strike zone if they alter the strike zone. Let's talk about Blake Snell and the steps that he needs to take to limit those kind of innings and pitch counts.
Well, it's all right there if you've been watching the ball game for the first 4 innings or so. It's command of the fastball. It's when you get ahead, the ability to put somebody away, and he has all those capabilities. But just like any young pitcher, just like a young David Price years ago, they just simply need to learn to do that on a more consistent basis.
Well, let's talk about a couple of the other. I mean, this pitching staff since the All-Star break has been one of the top 2. Really, along with the Cubs in the game of baseball. ERA, everybody getting the job done. And talk a little bit about the turnaround of Jake Odorizzi and Drew Smyly and what has led to that. Those two guys going out there, their last 5, 6, 7 starts and really be dominant. I mean, Jake has the best ERA in the American League since the break.
Yeah, they've both done a heck of a job. I mean, everybody really from the top to the bottom has done a heck of a job. Probably what you said since about the All-Star break. And I don't think there was any, great epiphany or anything on anybody's part. But, we basically took stock of, what we were doing and where we were at. And there was a lot of reasons why, we didn't pitch well. First and foremost, because we didn't pitch well. But there was all kinds of other peripheral things going on as well that sort of conspired to, just to limit our performance. But the guys took ownership of it, and they basically said, hey, listen, the buck stops here, and if we're going to do anything at all, it's going to start with us and end with us. And the good pitching, just like the bad pitching, just like the good hitting, and just like the bad hitting, is contagious. And I think when we were going poorly, guys weren't really taking ownership of that, and it was kind of okay. And I just made one bad pitch, and sort of, just almost excuse making at times, and it was almost, accepted. Like I'm saying, it's contagious. And now that everyone is pitching good, nobody wants to be that weak link, and that's contagious as well.
Yeah, Jim, you see that to be, in a way, a natural growth, a progression of young pitchers who get to the big leagues with a lot of responsibility?
Well, I mean, I do, but I had thought that we had kind of changed that culture where, you're not here to learn on the job, and you're not here to just be okay and glad to be here and all that type of thing, where you were here to contribute immediately and be productive. And that's really been the case all along. So that was a little bit disappointing in that regard right there. But we seem to have righted the ship, and, I like the direction we're heading in now.
3-2 here to Logan Forsythe, leading off the bottom of the fourth against David Price. And there's a big step line right back through the middle.
Well, Jim, and obviously, in talking about David Price, you've worked with him, obviously, a lot of time, a lot of close work with David over the years before he went elsewhere. Do you see anything different with him right now, a different approach, just the way that he attacks hitters, or is it pretty much the same as when he was here with the Rays?
Well, quite honestly, I haven't seen him pitch all that much. I haven't seen him that much on television, maybe once or twice, and a couple of those were early in the season when things weren't going quite so well for him either. But what I have seen so far is basically the same type of an approach, that fastball down and away, and then standing that right-hander up inside, and then the change-up and the backdoor cutter and all that. So it appears to be relatively close to what it was when he was here.
Yeah, when he was here as a young pitcher, as Betts takes care of Kiermaier's fly ball. Tonight we got two left-handers, the premier lefty maybe, and David Price, and maybe the premier young lefty and Snell. How would you compare and contrast those two, given where they were as young pitchers?
Well, that's a really good question, and not the first time I've gotten it, but they're extremely similar, of course. I would say that Blake comes a little bit more well-armed, if you will, in that he has 4 legitimate, what I would consider major league average pitches, if not at times above average major league pitches, and David did not have that. They both lacked fastball command, and you can see, obviously I think David's got whatever he's got, 37, 38 walks on the year, and Blake's trying to catch him right now, so obviously that's something that there's a difference there, but they were similar at the time. David had a tremendous, maybe the best of anyone that I've ever had, a tremendous aptitude for pitching, and anything that he identified or we identified as him needing to do, he was able to do it, whether it was to add a changeup or you know, a curveball, or start to throw a two-seamer or work the other side of the plate. And if you know, Blake's got aptitude as well, and as soon as Blake starts to iron out the fastball command issues, that's when he's going to take off, and he's really going to take off.
All right, Jim, we appreciate you right here in the middle of the action, taking time to visit with us, and we expect to see many great things from Blake Snell and the rest of this pitching staff going forward. Thanks again.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, Jim Hickey, the Rays pitching coach, with us here in the bottom of the fourth as the Rays try to build a little something.